What's up, SNA fans? This is Super Ninja Austin back here with another video. Yeah, I forgot to tell you guys. I apologize for not mentioning it. Not only am I making an AEW Dynamite review, but I'm also going to be making an AEW Rampage review right after I do this Dynamite review video. So yeah, stay tuned until later on because I'm going to talk about what exactly went down on this week's unusual episode of AEW Rampage live on. This is the first time they aired AEW Rampage on Wednesday. Not to mention, also first time they're playing on the TBS channel of Warner Bros. Discovery. Well, any further ado, let's start off on tonight's AEW Dynamite on March 19th, March 20th, 2024, where we saw the future rivals of the top two best matches of the night. Let me tell you, they were the two greatest matches of tonight's AEW episode of Dynamite. Like, we saw the Rated R Superstar Adam Copeland and Christian Cage getting into the building alongside along with Eddie Kingston and Kazuchika Okada because they have their respective championship matches. And both the opener and the main event, like I predicted, and I correctly did so. And they also announced a match with Thunder Rosa and Deonna Purrazzo taking on Thomas Tony Storm and Ryan May, which I forgot to tell you guys, but I apologize in advance. But this is where we got Tony Schiavone in the ring, introducing everybody. The latest signing of last week's big business edition of AEW Dynamite, of the new signing and debut of the CEO, Mercedes Moné. This is where she came out of the ring. This is where Tony Schiavone was like, "This is the ring is all yours," and this is where he walked out of the ring. And then this is where Mercedes Moné came in with her, I guess, her Mrs. Claus gear, like from her last photo shoot from last Christmas that you could see exclusive. And this is where she's there, like, yeah, like business was the best night of AEW, and for you guys, huh? That's where fans were cheering, like, yeah, just like, you know what I mean, like I really miss all of this. Like, I miss the ring, I miss these ropes, I miss you guys as well, and I miss all of this entirely. And I'm so excited here, like in AEW. And the fans are like, yeah, we're excited to see you back in professional wrestling in America. But even though she's excuse me, like in North, like even though she's been wrestling in New Japan and sometimes even in her homes, I'll say, and even in their current the current state that she's resigning in, but that doesn't count as being like American-based wrestling company, just like a WWE and AEW, though. But anyway, here's where fans are chanting CEO, like they always would do. This is where she was like, the only thing I know is that all this nearly got taken away with me like 10 months ago. And the fans like, oh no, like, yeah, like, and luckily that, and they were like, yeah, like we remember that, like with that damn near career-ending injury. And this where she was like, yeah, back in May when I was in New Japan, like in my career, I almost had a career, I nearly had a career-ending injury, like. And then in the match with the New Japan Strong Women's Championship against against my now fellow AEW colleague Willow Nightingale, and the fans were at a mixture of reactions of the matter. This is where Willow Nightingale's like, yeah, like I really don't want to talk much about that, but I know this, and I know this is all just in the past, and now I'm here in AEW, like. And then she said, like, and then a lot of, and y'all might not know, like, what wrestling is Monday is, but luckily, I asked the production truck to play the video that I put together, like in a collage of me from me debuting as Mercedes Moné, and you can see it right here on the Titantron. Right, you can get a taste of a little bit of Moné. And I was thinking to myself, like, what does she exactly meant by that? And yeah, like, why she said it like in the most inappropriate way. I'm not saying that she's being inappropriate, and I'm not saying that like she's purposely trying to make these subliminal messages, but I'm just saying, like, it just sounds hilariously, I'll say, hilariously awkward. Yeah, I guess you could say. But this is where, this is where they showed her from her New Japan days, like from her wrestling like the Kairi Sane, Iwo Watanabe, her Hazuki, and the other women's wrestlers in New Japan and Stardom. And then also like showed her in the red carpet because she plays the role of Coach Reese on the Mandalorian series on Disney Plus, which I heard from a couple fellow YouTubers. I did not know that until it's been mentioned that she's been playing the role as Coach Reese ever since the second season. Yeah, the second season of Mandalorian, exclusively on Disney Plus. Make sure to subscribe onto the. But anyway, this is where and they even showed her that she even beat, and she also beat what's her name, Stephanie Vasquez. Like when they were in the semifinals, like the winner gets to face either Willow Nightingale or that other girl, which she's from Stardom. I forget her name, but I knew it at the time because I remember talking about that on the wrestling news a few months ago. But yeah, this is where she was like, and now I'm here in AEW, which they showed her like when she made her debut 7 nights ago. And then this is where she was like, yeah, and she was like, I meant to be here, and all the was like, this is my setbacks, like made for major comebacks. Like, and now here I am, like as your CEO. And then this is where she ended her promo. And this is where she then continued saying on her promo saying, like, I'm not just doing an evolution for one company. I'm trying to do this globally to the whole entire universe of professional wrestling, which is a clear reference of her time in WWE, only doing it for the women's evolution on one company, which is the Stanford-based company, or the Stanford-based promotion, I should say, because I already said company. But anyway, yeah. But yeah, this is where then she continued to. And this is where she's like, in about last week about Julia Hart and the TBS, like Julia Hart or Sky Blue and the TBS champion, Josh Blue. Like, and this is where I think she accidentally botched the promo bit. She was like the TB, Julia Hart and the TBS champion, and this is where I believe the fans corrected her. She was like, oh yeah, like Sky Blue and the TBS champion, Julia Hart. Like, my apologies. And this is where she was like. And then it's true that I sure do have unfinished business with Willow. Like, I never got a chance to get a rematch because my ankle injury was so severely like it took 10 months away from me from being in the squared circle. But all right, but now that I'm back here, like. And this is where she was like, and if anybody want to mess with my business, they sure will be bankrupt. And I promise you that's what she said. Like, that goes for either Julia Hart, Willow Nightingale, or anybody that steps in their way, I guess you could say. And I'll say, and plus, like, I was thinking, like, secondly, like, is this a clear reference to her former signature move? Like, who knows? Like, but anyway, this is where then she did continue on the promo. She was like, there's a price to pay, like when you mess with the CEO, Mercedes Moné, while her rubbing her fingers together, like if she got like 2 cents or at least 20 cents rubbing together. And then this is where the lights went out, like when her music started playing, like when she was about to leave. But this is where the lights went out. Julia Hart was right onto the ramp. This is where Julia Hart tried to attack her from behind, but luckily she assisted her from right behind her and nearly attacked the former IWGP Women's Champion. But she dodged out of the way. She turned her around, hit a big backstabber. Unfortunately, she didn't hit the crossface because she kind of don't do the bank statement move anymore because she's no longer Banks. She's now Monet. But anyway, speaking of Monet, this is where we got Julia Hart trying to kick her in the gut. But I was thinking to myself, like, did she learn from 7 nights ago? Like when she tried to attack Monet, like she nearly got she nearly got knocked the hell out with that Monet maker when she hit it on her. She tried to go for it again, but it was like a finishing, like doing a finishing move during the match, like an official match, I should say. Like the first time was guaranteed. The first time works will be a guarantee for them, but not when it's the second attempt of doing the move. That's what's kind of like when Monet. After kneeing her in the face, but this is where Sky Blue then picks up Julia Hart, so they won't do anything. So they won't get clobbered like last time, or I said nearly clobbered. I meant to say when they got pretty much clobbered by the former IWGP Women's Champion. But this is where we got Sky Blue and Julia Hart's like how about and this is where they start thinking to each other like the wrestling maths, like saying like there's only the two of us and only one of her, but they didn't realize that the numbers are going to gain into Mercedes Monet's advantages, but they didn't even care because they thought she was all alone because she's not exactly, you would say, friends with Willow the Pillow and Chris Statlander, considering she took her opportunities away of becoming the New Japan Strong Women's Championship in kayfabe, at least. Not in reality, of course, but anyway, this is where Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander came out there when they tried to hit her with the chairs, but luckily they just disappeared as soon as they went back down off the apron. This is where the lights went out like if there were two female versions of The Undertaker, including Julia Hart. I was like, what is up with this gimmick? Like, what is up with some of the women in all of professional wrestling? Like, they have a darky, spooky persona, trying to have the lights out and the lights. I turn off the lights when they appear and turn off the lights when they disappear. And don't get me wrong, like even the male wrestlers like Malachi Black does that too. Like in other wrestlers that had the spooky gothic and supernatural persona. And even Bray Wyatt did that, but he was more likely like staticking, like when he showed the staticking images of the Wyatt family, and like when he disappears and reappear. But anyway, this is where it was just the three babyface women like Willow Nightingale, Mercedes Moné, and Chris Statlander. This is where Willow Nightingale still had the chair up in their hands, like she was about to do a position, like she was in position, like she was about to hit Mercedes Moné right into her back when she had to turn, like if she was a female Seth Rollins doing that to Roman Reigns back 10 years ago. But this is where Mercedes Moné turned around. She was like, "Oh, you really gonna try to hit me with that? Like, did you got my message earlier? Like saying like if anybody cross paths with me and try to mess with my business, like you're gonna be bankrupt." Like, and this is where she was like, "You're really gonna hit me with that?" And this is where she was like, "I'm keeping my eyes on you." And this is where she walked out of the ring. She was like, "Yeah, and he's like, you know what, like now, like for you trying to hit me with that chair, like I'm gonna make sure that I always watch my back everywhere I go, especially when I'm in an AEW building. Like it's like when you're in the build, when you're also in the building, of course, whatever a city or state or country you're in for an AEW show." But this is where she would start repeatedly continuing to do this, like this hand gesture, like with her eyes pointing into her eyes. She was like, "I'm keeping my eyes on you." And this is where Chris Statlander tried to be the peacemaker. She was like, "Okay, ladies, like no." No need to get intense and get intense and what's that word? Okay, not get intense. Let's not get intense and brutal here, like and trying to harm each other, like when we're trying to be on the same page. But this is where, as you walked out of the ring, this is where we got the backstage, the new male backstage, the backstage interviewer. I keep forgetting his name. I need to start continue doing my research on who's the backstage interviewer, which I already know, like Renee Paquette and Lexi, even though I kind of don't know her last name. But anyway, I'm trying to make sure I know everything I can to sound like a personal journalist. This is where my personal, a professional journalist, my apology, but this is where he was starting to announce the match, the top taking on Eddie Kingston, where the Young Bucks like, "Way to go! Like you're starting to do your job, like you're doing your job, like being a professional journalist, like and you're starting to listen to us, like." And this is where and it is where the Young Bucks was like, yeah, like, and we're like 165 days, like consecutive, like we're killing it right now. Like for an example of like I and this where it's like, and this where he asked him a question like, what is it like Okada? This where he said something in Japanese, but none of us can understand what he was saying. This where Matthew Jack's like, and this where it's like, this where the interviewer was like, what is he saying? Like he's like, oh, like I cannot really give that away right now. Like and then yeah, you're trying and stuff. Like you're getting there, like, but you're just like you're just. Like yeah, you're just getting there. Like if I was you, I would recommend you taking some lessons in Japanese. Like you probably exactly understand exactly what Okada is saying. Like obviously, but anyway, this is where he's like, but ain't he the most handsome, the most charismatic figure here in AEW? Like he got a big Continental title match on top of that, and if anybody who raises this occasion, like it should be Okada right here, and this is where. And that's where Nicholas Jackson was like, this championship is only one thing, Matthew. Remember that. Like, we cannot be in ringside. We gotta make this a fair fight. And also, like, because we gotta make this a fair fight, like, because of the rules Tony Khan has with the Continental Crown Championship. And that's where it's like, but even though we can't be ringside, like we'll be behind the curtain with our boss, like Tony Khan and Gorilla, like producing, like you're gonna be your personal match producers on how to become the new AEW Continental Crown Champion. Like, but you're gonna do so, and I need to stop repeating myself saying that winning the championship like this because it sounds too generic. I need to start spicing it up a little bit, like making like with some other words to describe that they're going to become the new champion. Like when I'm saying with this, like for an example, like anyways, like I just did. But anyway, but this is where Matthew Jackson, how you feeling, Okada? Like about this, where it's like, like Eddie, like you're gonna be, like you may be the champion now, but the next like. He said something like this in Japanese, which I don't understand. Obviously, I don't speak Japanese. I apologize. I need to start taking some lessons and then understand exactly what likes like him and Shinsuke Nakamura, even without the subtitles. And Kairi Sane and Asuka and what's her name? Kairi Sane, Asuka, Io Sky, and Akira Tozawa. But anyways, it's where because it's like hey, like you. Like you may be champion right now, but like when you get in the ring with me, you're going to be looking at your new Continental Crown champion, and I'm coming for that championship, Eddie. Like so, yeah. So continue to appreciate you being champion. Champion now, Eddie, because you're going to be Rainmaker, and you're going to see your new. The Young Bucks? Thank the interview man for talking to them, but they got to go. They got to get into Gorilla and produce what's his name's match, Okada's match against the reigning champ Eddie Kingston. Yeah, this match was absolutely fantabulous. Like if that's the best word to use, like this was very fantastically amazing. Like it, I was like if Adam Copeland and Christian Cage wasn't going to be on tonight's Dynamite. Like for some reason, I would give this match the #1 best match, but but let's just say it was a complete shocker. I'll say like it was fantastically shocking. If that's the best description to describe this match. But anyways, it started off with Eddie Kingston going right to Kazuchika Okada, but this is where Okada puts him right. This is where they start grappling. This is where they push him right to the bottom right side. This is where like it was about to chop him very hard, but this is where he started. This is where he started taunting Eddie Kingston by tapping him gently. But this is where Eddie Kingston's like, this is where he started getting provoked, like if he was Gunther when he's getting provoked with wrestlers like Eddie Kingston and Okada and Danielson and others. But and this is where he started hitting chops and slaps, and he was like, "This spot's gonna be mine. I'm gonna still be your Continental Crown champion and be #1 on Gunther's hatred list that he that doesn't even exist. This is where he started hitting chops right across the. This is where he snap marriage hits another chop because he's the number one guy that does not give a damn what Gunther said more than Jey Uso does with the tribal chief. Like, and that's his own cousin, of course. But anyways, this is where Kazuchika Okada was like, my chest, like away from Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston chased him around the ring until Okada got back in the ring, and then axe handled him when Eddie Kingston was trying to crawl inside. This is where then Eddie Kingston gets picked up by the Rainmaker. And this is where he hits a big elbow right into the back of the head of back elbow right in the back of the head by Okada. This is where Okada goes for a headlock right onto Kingston. This is where Eddie Kingston tried to flip out of it like with a wrist lock or Irish whip until Eddie Kingston Irish whip him right to the side. But this is where he tried to shoulder tackle him, but Okada was still standing because he's one big tall son of a gun. This is where Eddie Kingston tried to try again. He was like, all right, like let's try this again. But he looked like because I believe then he okayed it. Luckily, it was okay because he was winding it up a bit and try to heal it like the old fashioned way. This is where he started continuing to do like wind his arm so he can be ready to continue. I mean, this is where you got not get ready, but get ready to continue his fight with Kazuchika Okada. That's what I meant to say. But it's where Okada rolled out of the ring again. But this time he was heading towards the ramp on the stage. This is where he tried to retrieve the Rainmaker, but he kicked. But this is where Okada then intercepted, kicked him in the gut, DDT right onto the ramp. This is where then Okada brought him back in the ring. This is where he goes for a spinning neck breaker right onto Kingston. This is where he then put his foot on Eddie Kingston's chest, but Eddie Kingston got up, shoulder up attitude at one point, at one point. That was one even. That's right. That's where then he tried to go for an axe arm, like an arm lock, like with the arm, like a double, like an axe, like a X-axe arm lock by crossing his arms together and started trying to squeeze him. But this is where Eddie Kingston tried to flip out of it. But this left side of the ring, this is where then he runs right to the left side. This is where he hit the right leg drop kick right into the back side of the leg. And that's where Okada tried to do every single moves like back to back. But Eddie Kingston was keep giving him the same answer with kickouts, whether it's one even, two evens, or even 2.5 counts. But this is where Eddie Kingston got back on his feet and then started hitting his comeback moves. And this is where even Eddie Kingston, I believe, hits him with a exploder suplex until both men got back up. This is where Okada tried charging him. Eddie Kingston was ready for him to run up to him, and he has a running STO right into the back of the Rainmaker, right into the middle of the canvas. This is where Eddie Kingston was like, all right, I'm back on fire right now. This is where he started slowly but sure, start getting back up. But even though it's slowly but surely, this is where the fans were saying their profanity chants to Eddie Kingston, say "F him up, Eddie, F him up, F him up, Eddie, F him up." And I was like, this kind of reminds me of that independent wrestling Okada. This is where he's starting repeated chops right of Okada, like repeatedly, like if he was some kind of a meat butcher. And this is where he started ticking off Gunther more and more, which he earned himself 1,000 more. Earned 1,000 more points in the envy list, I should say. Yeah. And this is where he tried to go for an exploder suplex right onto Okada. This is where Okada started going for elbow right on strike, right onto Eddie Kingston. And that's where Eddie Kingston did a German suplex. And then this is where Eddie Kingston got back on his feet. This is where then he runs up right to the left corner side. This is where he hits like a shoulder, a swinging elbow smash right into the face of Okada, like running him down on the ground when he was in Samurai position. But when we got it, like then I'll be just fine, and I'll stay as champ. Chop right onto Okada, like which these are the only guys that's gonna get points for. This is gonna be. He's gonna spare the rest of the AEW roster because they're good. This match is the most important match of of the week for AEW, like next to the TNT Championship match and a couple of their matches that's going to be on Rampage later. So he's going to give him the night off, I guess, Gunther, because one, this match, and two, these two are going to be the only two matches that's going to be on AEW this week on Wednesday until next week, because the March Madness is going to be starting this weekend, and there was no time to put any show on the card, any AEW show on the card of Friday and Saturday. So that's why it's the reason why, one of the reasons why they do it exactly the same night Dynamite comes on. And two, also AEW Collision's not going to be on this Saturday because of the March Madness is going to be on. They couldn't find a perfect time on the card. I'll say they could find another better time to put it on Saturday or even Friday because of the college football tournament championship on, or not championship, let's say the tournament for the NCAA championship. So that's why they cancel AEW Collision this week, and it won't come back on until next week on March 30th. So stay tuned until then. Which we're gonna see plenty of matches that's gonna be on the card for that a week from this weekend. Anyway, we got Okada and Eddie Kingston are continuing doing their strikes right onto each other, playing wrestling tennis until Eddie Kingston went from the left corner side. This is where Okada hits a big drop kick right onto the face of Eddie Kingston. This is where Okada then got him in the Alabama slam kind of position, but he put his knee right onto his knee under the back of the head of Eddie Kingston and dropped him. This is where he tried to go for a pin, but Eddie Kingston kicks out of 2.9. This is where Okada, was damn it, how is he how did he got his shoulder up so easily? This is where he hit him with a body slam. He was like, all right, that doesn't matter. I'm going to hit him with my signature move, which he body slammed him right onto the ground. That's where he tried to go for a dive right on to Kingston, but luckily Kingston got back up and moved out of the way. This is where he tried to attack Okada, but he already was long gone. This is where Eddie Kingston tried to run up and go for a pin onto Okada. But the referee counted 1, counted 2, but Okada got the right shoulder up at 2.99999999999, 2.90.1 away from it. And this is where Eddie Kingston broke. He was break, I should say. Yeah. He was broken into he broken up to 100,000 pieces after when he couldn't get him at 3. He was like nobody ever kicked out of the back fist, never ever, even though I had meddling kids, stopped me from winning with this move before in tag team matches. I did not expect somebody in a one-on-one match would kick out of this move, and this is where fans are saying, "This is awesome," and then they're clapping and showing their appreciation to everybody involved in this match, including the referee, I guess, and the usual commentators every week, like Excalibur, Taz, and Tony Schiavone. But this is where we got, and this is where we got. And this is where Eddie Kingston started going forearms back and forth with Okada, with the fans were the forearms, the chops, and then this is where Gunther had his pin out on if he needs to erase Eddie Kingston or he's gonna remain him as number 1, and then Okada remains as number 2 with whatever points they score overall into his envy list. But this is where Eddie Kingston then won the chop war, and this is where he tried to go for a forward arrow, a falcon arrow suplex, but this is where Okada foots out of it. This is where he tried to go for the rainmaker, but this time around it didn't work. You get the rules. We're gonna know. When I say this, that means he's gonna get a guaranteed earlier, because not later. What I said earlier, right? Later, in the future, not the past. But anyway, this is where Okada go for a running clothesline right onto the right into the neck and the head of Eddie Kingston, like nearly breaking his face in the process. Like because he grabbed onto his face like if he just broke his nose or his forehead or jaw or whatever in the face. Like it's where then but this is where we got Eddie Kingston right to the bottom right, bottom left corner. This is where Okada was right in the right side. This is where half the fans were chanting, "Let's go, Eddie," and the other half was like, "Okada," and everybody doing it back and forth, like until Kazuchika Okada then went right into the right, waited for Eddie Kingston to get up diagonal from in the bottom left when he was running from the top right, and then this is where he tried to hit it like a diving clothesline right on to Eddie, but he kicked him right in the face. This is where Eddie Kingston hit a big clothesline that nearly made him do a 360 in the air. This is where Eddie Kingston was like, all right, like, and he's like, as soon as I can regain my energy and my stamina, like I'm not gonna play no more games. Like, and I'm gonna put him away for good. This is where he took off his straps of his tank top, like if he was wearing a onesie rather than tank top and pants. This is where we got Eddie Kingston to try to go for a German suplex, but this is where we got Kazuchika Okada try grabbing on the referee's shirt. And this referee's like, "Get your hands off my shirt! Like you're not making this easier for you. Like if you're not careful, you're going to get DQ'd." And this where Kazuchika out like for everybody watching like around the arena to have some entertaining to watch, but still like it wasn't a good call from the referee to warn Okada when he already knew that it's going to get him DQ'd. But anyway, this is where he gets. But this is where Okada did go for a body slam. But this is where Eddie Kingston hit a step up insecurity. This is where Eddie Kingston tried to go for a back fist. But you know the rules of that. Like, which there was the opposite with both Okada and Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston already successfully hit the first attempt, and the second, but Okada did not successfully hit his first attempt of doing the Rainmaker. You know what was going to happen. Eddie Kingston tried to go for spinning back fist, but Okada ducks out of the way. That's where Eddie Kingston hits a spinning power slam right onto him. This is where he hits the Rainmaker afterwards. And then surprisingly, he got the 1, 2, 3. I did not expect this to happen. I even predicted that Eddie Kingston's going to get an easy win. And I guess one match that I predicted on the top 2 best matches of the night, like did not go well exactly. But the other one, like we're just gonna have to see, like if I got who I predicted, right. Like let me know in the comments on who you were predicting on the main event match, and also this Eddie Kingston versus Okada match for the Crown Championship. But this way, But after, like, when he's celebrating and this is where confetti was going on, this is where he was like, "Yeah, like I told that rude goofball Eddie Kingston that I was going after for a championship, and I promised him something that I could keep, and that is your new AEW Continental Crown Championship." This is where the Young Bucks like, "Yeah, that's what I'm talking about." This is what they started doing. This is where they started rubbing in Tony Khan's face hilariously. I was like, these guys, I agree with Simon Miller, the best heel tag team in AEW right now, if not overall in professional wrestling. Like they are, very entertaining. They definitely broke the fourth wall, like something that you hardly see any heel wrestlers would do. Like only very few, like Tony Storm, being the very few wrestlers, I guess you could say, but. And I'll tell you, I mean, there's some babyface wrestlers like Montez Ford going on the fourth wall, and I'm not sure who else. I cannot remember right now, but also, and I don't think I ever seen that much like heel wrestlers that broke the first. I'll tell you, and this is the first time I see any heel authority figures in AEW, which they're starting to be more in storyline wise. Even though it could sometimes be entertaining, but sometimes it could be a bit horrendous, like if it's not booked correctly. But at this case, it's more than correctly successful right now at this time, and hopefully they continue the keep this heel tag team this heel tag team persona up, like because they're getting more and more entertaining, like as of about a minute, I guess you could say. Like they're just getting more and more intriguingly interesting, if I got it correctly. But And something just tells me we might see them be the ones that could win in this final in the tournament of for the AEW Tag Team Championships. I could just see them beating Private Party next week, and then they could face off against Best Friends, or who else they're gonna face, and then they're gonna probably going to go face to face with FTR, like at the end of like at AEW Dynasty. I mean, it could be FTR, but then again, it could be Infantry. I don't know. Let me know who you think is gonna be in the finals with the Young Bucks, or if the Young Bucks are gonna be on, or if they are gonna be onto the finals in the tag match in the card of AEW Dynasty. Let me know down below. This is where the pyro was popping and going everywhere into the stage until the Bastard Pack came in, and this is where he get face to face right onto Okada. This is where Okada's like, "You want this championship? Like, if you want it, all you gotta do is get it from me." This is where the Bastard Pack like, "Nope, like no, thank you. Like, at least not tonight." And this is where he walked out of the ring, which is where this is where what's his